Hey parents, this is for me. This is take two. The first video that I made was too long and convoluted, and so I'll try to make this as simple as possible. We are in week three this Wednesday of our series in sexuality, and one of the things that we realized is that we need to set some more foundations for where we're going in other discussions. And so you got the schedule from Sherry, and on the schedule for this Wednesday night, it says that we're going to be. Um, Breaking up into guys and girls groups and talking about different issues that relate to guys and girls. But we realized before we do that, we actually need to define a few things. And the reason for the shift is at the end of every Wednesday night, we give students a questionnaire that says, "What did you learn? What do you still have a question about?" And the question that keeps coming back, it's not this specific, but it relates to basically what is sex? Like when we're talking about sex and sexuality, what do we really mean? And so we realized we need to define that. We need to talk more about that. So we're going to do that this Wednesday night. And rather than give the students a list and saying these things are sexual in nature and these things aren't, we're going to talk more about acting on arousal, sexual arousal. Because again, I could give a list and say, don't have intercourse, don't, keep your hands to yourself, don't make out. But as soon as I give a list to anybody, students or not, and because of our sin, we will find a way to get around the list. That's just how we are in our sin nature. So instead, what I want to talk about is acting on arousal. So there's nothing evil or wrong or sinful about being sexually aroused. But what can be sinful is what we do from that point of arousal. And it's from that point of arousal that you can get into, again, intercourse, pornography, heavy touching, petting, first base, second base, third base. And so instead of giving a list, what we're going to do this Wednesday, let me try to get the camera there. What we're going to do is talk about arousal and talk about all these things that fit under the umbrella of arousal. Because again, giving a list will in our flesh, we will find a way to get around it. So these are some examples of things. Now I realize that these might not be topics that you have talked to your kids about. If I can give you any advice, it would be you need to be open and honest with your kids about sexuality. I hope that I'm not the first one teaching your kids about what these things are, or just about sexuality in general. I know that I am in some cases, and so I will do the best job that I can. I realize these are your kids, not my kids, and so I will be delicate. I will not be graphic. I don't want to shatter their worlds at all, but if we, as parents, are not teaching our children about sexuality, then we open up the door to say, to allow the world to do that. So that's where we're going to be going on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about what is sex, what do we mean by sexuality specifically, and talking a lot about this idea of what do we do with arousal. I'm going to be using two different passages, one of them from 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 1 through 5, where Paul talks about sex in its most beautiful place, which is in marriage, and then also Song of Solomon chapter 5 and chapter 3, when the bride speaks to her friends and says, "Don't awaken love until it is time. Don't even open the door of sexuality until it's the right time, because if you do, you find yourself in trouble." So that's where we're going tonight or Wednesday night. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or let me know, and I would love to talk with you about these things. And by the way, if you are wrestling, if you know you need to talk to your kids about sex and sexuality and you haven't done that yet and you don't even know where to start, please give me a call. I would love to walk you through it. This is my almost 20th year of youth ministry. I've done this a few times, and I'm getting ready to do it with my own kids someday. But I've got resources, I've got things that you can use that I think will be helpful. So please give me a call. Love you, parents. Praying for you, praying for your kids. Thank you for letting them be a part of our ministry, and we'll see you soon. Bye.